Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about, if you've been following the news or if you're on social media any bit, I'm pretty sure you've heard about the plan to erase all of the student debt. So there's a hashtag going around now called cancel student debt. And I've had some people reach out to me and they wanted to get my take. So stay tuned. Let's jump into it and I'll give you guys my opinion on it. All right, welcome back. So if you haven't already, click the like button to subscribe. If it's your first time seeing me or being on this channel, my name is Lewis Pike. I'm gonna talk about all things from money to finances to technology. So I have just kind of a mixed barrage of videos. If you're interested in anything entrepreneurship, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. And I try to drop videos as much as I can, trying to be more consistent about coming out with videos several times a week. So things do happen. So between traveling, working, and running my own business, I don't always get to adhere to that, but I'm trying to do better. Anyway, enough from me rambling. Let's jump into today's topic. So canceling all student debt. So there's been a plan proposed by Bernie Sanders to cancel all of the student debt. So doesn't really matter. I did some research into it to see like if it's a certain amount that you have, if it's a certain income range that you're in, that you bring in financially. What are the criteria? His whole goal is to erase all of student debt. Doesn't matter what your financial situation is, how much income you make, if you consider lower class, middle class, rich, whatever. He wants to eliminate student debt, and he also wants to make any state schools free, and have some plans in place to lower tuition. Anyway, I've had a lot of people hit me up and reach out to me because if you've been following me for a while, I paid off in 2017. I paid off about $70,000 in debt. Majority of that was student loan debt, and I did it in 12 months. So a lot of people were like, Lewis, wow. So you've paid off your debt and he's proposing this plan to cancel student loan debt. What is your take on it? And honestly, I am for it. And I'll give you reasons why I'm here in a second, but I legitimately have no problem with him canceling the student loan debt. And even though, I've paid off my debt and, I could easily say that's not fair. What do I get? And all this stuff. But honestly, I'm so relieved that I don't have debt. That I'm not, I'm past that stage, and I just want to help as many people as I can by sharing my journey. And, whether this bill goes through or not, I feel like it's still my obligation to share my experiences and give knowledge to people that want to pay it off. But at the end of the day, if he's going to erase that and cancel it for a lot of people, then mission accomplished. That's still aligned in what I believe with and helping people to get out of debt. And they may not have had to do it the path that I've had to do it, and paying off my debt. But that to me, that's no different from someone getting, a lump sum of money, whether it's an inheritance, they won in the lottery, or anything like that, in order to pay off their debt, selling a house. Like it's no different from someone getting a lump sum. The only thing that's guaranteed with this, and if he's actually able to get, elected and he gets this bill passed and get it in place, is we know for sure that is all going to go towards paying off debt. Like it's not going to be any temptation to use that money and put it elsewhere. Now, if he was proposing a plan to where you just get a check and you're able to do whatever you want with it, pay your debt off or not, then yeah, I probably have a problem with that. But if people are going to get their debt erased, then I don't have a problem with it. And I'm happy and I'm all for it, because this is the thing. And, there's a lot of people that have been commenting that, didn't go to college, that didn't have student loan debt. They're upset about this. And what is it for me, or a lot of people who were baby boomers and had debt a long time ago, when college debt wasn't nearly as expensive as it is today, and tuition costs weren't nearly as high as it is today. They're all screaming to be accountable and pay off the debt. Well, this is the thing. I can look at it from this viewpoint because I went through it. I'm still, believe it or not, in the millennial generation. So I was part of the generation where the student loan debt started to get out of control, and where the cost of tuition started to go. I remember my first semester in college, I think for a full load of classes, I think tuition was maybe $1,500 or something like that. And that's just for full classes. I went to just a small university in my hometown, but by the time I got out 4 years later, my tuition had went from like, $1,500 to maybe $2,000 to like 4,000 to 5,000 a semester. So you do the math on that, on how quickly that went. I mean, this was just in 4 years. And I was concerned then, because I'm like, man, like I feel sorry for the people that are coming up after me, because there's no regulations. There's nothing in place to stop the debt, to stop the tuition from going up. And a lot of it happened when the student loans got taken over by the government. Like there hasn't been any regulations in place to stop colleges from raising tuition. So the more money that people are able to get, the higher the cost of tuition is. So the universities are raising it, people are able to get more money. Universities are raising the cost and cost and cost. And now we're in a situation now where there's a lot of people who have a lot of debt. I saw, for example, this is on the extreme end or the high end. So to get a Harvard education is like $70,000 a semester, $70,000 a year. Like that is ridiculous to go to school. And the thing is, like, jobs, I've been out in the workforce, I've worked, jobs aren't paying the amount to cover what you're paying to get that education. So basically it's not, the salaries that you're getting, is it really worth the return on investment? I mean, especially for people who don't have specialized degrees, whether they're not going into the medical field, where they're going to be an engineer, be a lawyer, or some field like that, where they know, even all those fields aren't making as great as money, but some of them are making decent money. And I know there's a job and there's a need for the education, but still, is it really worth that much? Is the return on investment there? And most people, on average, they have $30,000 to $40,000 of debt. There's a lot of extreme cases too, where people have over six figures of debt, over $100K in debt, and they're making $30,000 to $50,000 a year, and they're carried with their debt. They're not able to start their lives. They're not able to invest like they want to. They're not able to have kids. They're not able to buy houses. Like, they're not able to do that because they literally have student loan payments that are literally a mortgage payment or a car note or something like that. To where they can't progress forward, or they can't put money back into the economy, and they feel stuck. So I know, after having gone through my experience, because I can relate to what people are going through that can't get out of their way to see a path, or see light as a revenue or an option to pay off their debt. So I know what it's like, because it took me a while. Like, I paid off all my debt in 12 months, but it took me almost 10 years to get to the point where, one, I was making decent income in order to, get on a budget and actually pay my debt off. And two, to where I got over the hurdle of actually, stop ignoring the debt. And I was actually had the courage to face it. I was no longer embarrassed by it. I finally took responsibility for the debt. And while I did it, and I've also found other ways to increase my value to the marketplace and to get my skills up, and found other ways to bring in a lot of income. So I'm not saying that, it's not possible, but what I'm saying is it's not easy to get there. It's not something to just wake up overnight and you can get past all these obstacles, because a lot of it really is just mentally. A lot of it is mentally, but when you're in a situation to where you have this student loan and you can barely make bills because of this payment. And even a situation, and a lot of people, I was in this where I was paying on the loans. I was paying the minimums when I got to a point where I wasn't in the red and I was in the black every month. But still, all those years of deferment, of forbearance, and the original amount in which I took out was higher. The original balance is higher. I've been paying on this for several years. And I'm thinking, I'm paying the minimum. I'm thinking that the balance is going down. No, my balance is higher. I'm paying a ton of interest. I'm not making any progress. What's my option to get out of it? And you feel like there's really no path, or there's no option to get out of it. And, a lot of times, like, a lot of people talk about getting on a budget and cutting back, but those are good things. Those are good things, and those are things to start. But really, what it comes down to is increasing your income in order to pay it off. And while it's possible, it's not an easy task, and you gotta you got to be in the right mind frame to be able to just go and just attack your dad and just, not say that it's going to bother you. Get over the fact of being ashamed. Who cares what people think? A lot of people, if you worry about what people think or people's perception, reality is there's a lot of people that are in your exact same situation that have a ton of student loan debt based on the numbers. So, that's just my spiel and my take on it. I'm all for it. I don't have any issues with it. If people can get their student loan debt erased, then great. I'm all for it. Just hopefully, that, if it does happen, I hope that, people actually take the chance to take the opportunity to really get their finances in order. Maybe there's some requirements or some stipulations to where, people, are required to take some financial literacy stuff to, help them move forward with their money. I don't think we talk a lot about that. It's not just a problem of, lowering the tuition costs and stopping colleges and universities from just racking up the tuition or even limiting the amount that people can borrow to go to school. But I think it should start earlier in the education system, where we're showing people and talking to, kids at a very young age about, investing, compound interest, how to make money, what to do with your money, how to budget your money, what debt is, what's bad debt, to start talking about these things, having the conversations, because I think honestly, there's a lot that even when I went to school, there was a lot that was talked about that I'm not using in life, but a lot of the stuff that I need to use in life, like balancing my money, creating a budget, how to invest, what is compound interest, buying a house, those things were never talked about in school. And I think we need to talk more about those things and actual things of what you need to do. What is it going to be like when you get out into the real world? Actually making sure when that incoming freshman goes in to take out a student loan or, get money, get financial assistance to go to school, that they really understand the outcomes of what they're getting into, how long it's going to take to pay it off, how much interest they're going to occur if they don't pay it off, what that situation looks like paint that picture for them so people can see it, not just, read some letter or some note that says you agree to pay this 6 months after you graduate, but actually show people what those numbers look like write those out, have it visual so people can understand what they're getting into, but also something in place to lower and gauge the cost of tuition. I can go on another rant about, how I feel about the education system and whether college is worth it or not, but I've held you guys enough. So that is just my my thoughts or my piece on, the counseling and the student debt. I don't have a problem with it. I'm all for it. I support it. And I think it would be awesome for the people who have a ton of debt to pay off, especially student loans, if there was some plan or something put in place to where they can get that erased and just have a fresh start, because it is a awesome feeling and it's a beautiful thing once you no longer have debt. So I will continue to do my part and continue to speak my message on tools and stuff you guys can do to not only budget, but what you can do to actually increase your income. Again, I will see you all on the next video. This is Lewis Pike here. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Click the little like button and make sure you get notified whenever I come out with a video. If you found this video helpful, please share it. Please comment on it below. I'm curious to know your thoughts on the situation as well, whether you agree, whether you disagree. Please start the dialogue. I'm curious to see what other people think on this situation as well. Have a good one.